The world doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, stressed, or not ready yet. Every single day, life asks one question: are you strong enough, or will you break? Comfort is everywhere. Pain is optional, and that's exactly why most men are losing. Because softness feels good now, but it destroys you later. Today we talk about why pain builds men, and why avoiding it makes you weak. Comfort is the most dangerous thing a man can fall in love with, because it doesn't attack you loudly. It doesn't threaten you. It doesn't scare you. It whispers. It tells you that you deserve rest before you've earned it, that you can slow down because you still have time, that staying where you are is safer than risking failure. Comfort doesn't feel like an enemy, and that's why it destroys more potential than failure ever could. The moment a man chooses comfort over challenge, growth begins to die. Not instantly, not dramatically, but slowly and quietly. Days become routine. Effort becomes optional. Standards start dropping one decision at a time. You wake up when it feels good instead of when it's necessary. You eat what tastes good instead of what fuels you. You do what's easy instead of what's required. None of these choices feel like a mistake in the moment, but together they build a life that goes nowhere. Growth has never been comfortable. The body doesn't change unless it's pushed past what it already knows. Muscles don't grow from ease. They grow from tension, strain, and recovery after pain. The same rule applies to the mind and the character of a man. Confidence isn't built by staying safe. Discipline isn't built by convenience. Mental toughness isn't built by avoiding pressure. Everything that makes a man formidable is forged in resistance. Comfort creates weakness because it removes urgency. When life is easy, there is no reason to sharpen yourself. No reason to push harder. No reason to demand more from yourself. Comfort convinces you that average is acceptable. It normalizes laziness and disguises it as balance or self-care. It tells you that pushing yourself is unnecessary, that struggle is unhealthy, that stress should be avoided at all costs. But the truth is, controlled struggle is the very thing that prepares you for chaos. A man who lives in comfort is fragile. He may not see it yet, but it shows when pressure arrives. The smallest inconvenience feels overwhelming. Criticism feels like an attack. Failure feels personal. Because he has trained himself to live without resistance. Any resistance becomes unbearable. Comfort does not prepare you for life. It leaves you exposed to it. Look at what comfort does to ambition. Ambition requires hunger, and hunger disappears when you are too comfortable. When everything is good enough, there's no reason to aim higher. Comfort makes men settle. Settle for a job they don't respect. Settle for a body they're ashamed of. Settle for a version of themselves they once promised they'd never become. Not because they lack ability, but because pushing forward would mean discomfort, and comfort has become more important than self-respect. Comfort also lies about time. It convinces you that you can start later, that tomorrow is guaranteed, that urgency is unnecessary. But time is ruthless. Every day you choose comfort over growth, you're not standing still, you're falling behind. While you rest in ease, someone else is sharpening their edge. While you delay, someone else is taking your place. The world doesn't pause because you're comfortable. There is a massive difference between recovery and comfort, and weak men confuse the two. Recovery is intentional. It serves a purpose. It prepares you to go harder next time. Comfort is indulgent. It has no endpoint. It keeps you soft and satisfied, but unprepared. Recovery strengthens you. Comfort sedates you. Men who win understand when to rest and when to suffer. Men who lose rest all the time and wonder why they feel empty. Comfort also kills self-trust. Every time you avoid something hard, you send a message to yourself that you can't handle it. That message compounds. Eventually, you stop believing in your ability to push through difficulty. You hesitate more. You doubt more. You overthink more. Strength isn't just physical or financial, it's psychological. And comfort erodes that strength quietly. Hard situations reveal who you are. Comfort hides it. In struggle, you discover your limits, your values, your resilience. In comfort, you never meet your true self. You live as a diluted version, never tested, never proven. A man who has never faced hardship doesn't know what he's capable of, and that ignorance is dangerous. It creates false confidence or deep insecurity, sometimes both. The modern world makes comfort extremely accessible. Entertainment on demand, food without effort, distraction everywhere. You can numb yourself endlessly and still call it living. But a numb man is not a powerful man. He's easier to control, easier to distract, easier to replace. Comfort makes men predictable. Challenge makes them dangerous. Every powerful man in history was shaped by resistance, not because pain is noble, but because pain is necessary. Resistance forces adaptation. Adaptation creates strength. Strength creates freedom. Comfort offers none of that. It offers pleasure now and weakness later. When you seek comfort first, you delay the man you could become. When you seek challenge, you accelerate him. The choice is made daily in small moments no one sees. Do you take the easy route or the hard one? Do you stop when it gets uncomfortable or push one step further? Do you avoid the task or confront it directly? Comfort feels like safety, but it's an illusion. Real security comes from knowing you can survive pressure, loss, and pain. That confidence doesn't come from ease. It comes from experience, from doing hard things when you didn't feel ready, from choosing growth when comfort was available. Men are not built to live soft lives. They are built to adapt, to endure, to rise under pressure. Comfort robs them of that purpose. Challenge restores it. Pain has been misunderstood for too long. It has been labeled as something to fear, something to escape, something that means you are doing life wrong. From a young age, most men are taught to avoid pain at all costs, to seek ease, to chase happiness, and to believe that discomfort is a sign to stop. That belief is one of the biggest lies ever sold, because pain is not a punishment. Pain is feedback. Pain is information. Pain is one of the most honest teachers a man will ever face. Pain enters your life the moment you step outside comfort. It shows up when you try and fail, when you are rejected, when you lose something you cared about, when you push your limits and realize how far you still have to go. Weak men see pain as proof that they are not good enough. Strong men understand that pain is proof that they are in the arena. Pain only visits those who are moving forward. Those who stay still feel very little pain, but they also feel very little progress. Every painful experience carries a lesson, but the lesson is not obvious. Pain doesn't sit you down and explain itself politely. It demands reflection. It demands honesty. It forces you to confront your weaknesses without filters or excuses. When something hurts, it exposes where you are unprepared, undisciplined, unfocused, or naive. That exposure is uncomfortable, but it is invaluable. Without pain, you would walk blindly through life, repeating the same mistakes and wondering why nothing changes. Loss is one of pain's sharpest lessons. Losing money, losing respect, losing opportunities, losing relationships. Each loss strips away illusion. It shows you what truly matters and what never did. It reveals who stands with you and who disappears. It teaches you that nothing is guaranteed and that security must be built, not assumed. A man who has never lost doesn't understand value. A man who has lost deeply understands what is worth protecting and what is worth rebuilding. Rejection is another form of pain that trains men. Being told no, being overlooked, being dismissed, it attacks the ego directly. Many men collapse under it. They retreat, lower their standards, and stop trying. But rejection is not a verdict on your worth. It's a test of your resolve. It teaches you emotional control. It forces you to separate your identity from external validation. A man who learns from rejection becomes immune to opinion. A man who avoids it remains controlled by it. Pain also builds awareness. When life hurts, you pay attention. You analyze your actions. You question your decisions. Comfort makes men careless. Pain makes men precise. It forces you to refine your strategy, improve your skills, and adjust your mindset. Every mistake becomes a data point. Every failure becomes a blueprint for improvement. If you are willing to look at it honestly instead of running from it, physical pain teaches discipline and patience. Training your body pushes you into discomfort regularly. Your muscles burn, your lungs ache, your mind tells you to stop. But every time you push through, you prove to yourself that pain does not control you. That lesson carries into every other area of life. A man who has learned to stay calm under physical strain is far harder to break under mental pressure. He understands that discomfort is temporary and that quitting is a choice. Emotional pain teaches depth and resilience. Heartbreak, betrayal, disappointment, these experiences cut deeper than any physical wound. They force you to confront attachment, expectation, and trust. They teach you not to give your power away blindly. They sharpen your judgment. A man who has survived emotional pain becomes more grounded, more self-reliant, and more selective. He stops begging for approval and starts standing on principle. Pain also removes arrogance. When you fail publicly or fall hard, your ego takes a hit. That humbling experience is necessary. It replaces false confidence with earned confidence. It teaches you respect for the process, for competition, for reality. Men who have never been humbled tend to overestimate themselves and collapse when real pressure arrives. Men who have been broken and rebuilt understand their limits and how to expand them. One of the most powerful lessons pain teaches is responsibility. At some point, you realize that blaming others doesn't reduce the pain. Complaining doesn't heal it. Avoiding it only delays it. The only way forward is ownership. Pain forces you to look in the mirror and accept your role in your outcomes. That moment is uncomfortable, but it is also the moment a man starts taking control of his life. Pain also teaches patience with progress. Growth is rarely fast or glamorous. Painful periods can last months or years. During that time, there are no rewards, no applause, no clear signs that things are improving. Pain teaches you how to move forward without reassurance. It trains you to trust the process even when results are invisible. That patience separates men who last from men who quit early. Avoiding pain doesn't make you safe. It makes you untrained. Life does not reduce its difficulty to match your comfort level. It increases pressure without warning. When that happens, the man who avoided pain is overwhelmed, while the man who learned from it adapts. Pain prepares you for chaos by exposing you to controlled hardship early. Men who understand pain stop asking why it's happening and start asking what it requires. That shift changes everything. Pain becomes a signal, not a sentence. A challenge, not a curse. Once you adopt that mindset, nothing is wasted. Every struggle becomes fuel. Every setback becomes strength in disguise. Pain does not mean you are weak. It means you are becoming. Discipline is misunderstood because most people only see its surface. They see routines, rules, repetition, and restraint, and they assume discipline is about restriction. They think discipline takes something away from life. In reality, discipline gives everything back. Discipline is not punishment imposed on you by the world. It is pain you choose, so the world doesn't choose pain for you later. Every man will experience pain. That is unavoidable. The only real choice is when and how that pain enters his life. Chosen pain arrives early, controlled, and purposeful. Unchosen pain arrives later, chaotic and merciless. Discipline is the act of choosing the first so you never have to be crushed by the second. When you wake up early instead of sleeping in, it hurts. When you train your body when it's tired, it hurts. When you say no to distractions, bad habits, and short-term pleasure, it hurts. That pain is real, but it is clean. It doesn't come with regret. It doesn't drain your self-respect. It strengthens you instead of hollowing you out. The pain of discipline passes, but what it builds stays. Regret is a different kind of pain. Regret is heavy. It lingers. It follows you into quiet moments. It shows up late at night when distractions fade and reality speaks clearly. Regret sounds like, I should have started earlier. I knew better. I wasted time. I had potential. That pain does not build you. It eats at you. And once regret arrives, you can't outrun it. You have to carry it. Discipline is painful because it forces you to act against your impulses. The human brain is wired for comfort, pleasure, and efficiency. Discipline demands the opposite. It demands effort when you don't feel like it, focus when you're bored, control when you're emotional. That internal resistance is the real battlefield. Most men don't lose because they lack ability. They lose because they never trained themselves to override their impulses. Every undisciplined action feels small in the moment. Skipping one workout, delaying one task, giving in just this once. But discipline is not built or destroyed in one decision. It's shaped by patterns. Small acts of indiscipline compound into weakness. Small acts of discipline compound into power. The difference between the man who wins and the man who watches is not talent. It's consistency under discomfort. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates freedom. That sounds backward to people who have never lived it. They think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But that version of freedom leads to chaos, dependency, and limitation. True freedom comes from control. Control over your time, your body, your finances, your emotions. Discipline is the tool that builds that control. A disciplined man does not need motivation. Motivation is emotional, unreliable, and temporary. Discipline is mechanical. It works whether you feel inspired or empty. On days when motivation disappears, and it always does, discipline carries you forward. That is why disciplined men outperform motivated men every time. One relies on feelings, the other relies on standards. Discipline also builds identity. Every time you do what you said you would do, especially when it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your self-trust. You become a man who keeps promises to others and to himself. That self-trust becomes confidence, not the loud kind, but the quiet, immovable kind. The kind that doesn't need validation because it's backed by evidence. Without discipline, talent rots, intelligence rots, potential rots. The world is full of men who could have been dangerous but chose comfort instead. They talk about what they ooze to be or could have been. Discipline separates the man who dreams from the man who executes. Dreams feel good. Execution hurts. That's why most people stay dreamers. Discipline also removes decision fatigue. When your standards are clear, you don't negotiate with yourself constantly. You don't debate whether to train, work, study, or improve. You just do it. That mental clarity saves energy and builds momentum. Undisciplined men waste enormous mental energy arguing with themselves, justifying shortcuts, and recovering from poor choices. The pain of discipline is front-loaded. You pay it early. You feel it in effort, restraint, and sacrifice. But the rewards arrive later as strength, respect, options, and stability. Regret works the opposite way. Pleasure comes first, easy and immediate. Pain arrives later, heavier and unavoidable. Discipline delays pleasure. Regret delays pain. One strategy builds power. The other builds weakness. Discipline teaches patience in a world addicted to speed. Results rarely come quickly. Progress is slow, quiet, and often invisible. Discipline keeps you moving even when there is no feedback. It teaches you to work without applause, to grind without recognition, to trust the process when there is no guarantee. That ability is rare and extremely valuable. A disciplined man becomes predictable to himself and unpredictable to others. He knows he will show up. He knows he will perform. Others don't know how to stop him because he doesn't rely on circumstances. He relies on standards that makes him resilient. Markets crash, relationships end, plans fail, discipline remains. Choosing discipline does not make life easier. It makes you stronger, and strong men don't need easy lives. They create stable ones. The pain of discipline sharpens you, focuses you, and prepares you for pressure. It is pain with a purpose, suffering with direction, hardship that pays dividends. Men who understand discipline stop asking what feels good and start asking what builds strength. They stop chasing comfort and start chasing capability. They realize that every disciplined action is a vote for the man they want to become. And once a man chooses discipline consistently, regret never gets the chance to speak. The world is not designed to reward intention, emotion, or explanation. It responds to outcomes. You can have the best reasons in the world for why something didn't work out, but reasons do not move reality. Results do. This is a hard truth, but it is also a liberating one. Once you understand it, you stop wasting energy trying to be understood and start focusing on being effective. Excuses are comfortable because they protect the ego. They give you a story that makes failure feel acceptable. They help you avoid responsibility by shifting blame to circumstances, people, timing, or luck. But every excuse, no matter how logical it sounds, trains weakness. Each time you explain instead of execute, you reinforce the habit of avoiding accountability. Over time, that habit becomes your identity. Strength is respected because it is rare and reliable. Strength shows up on time. Strength performs under pressure. Strength adapts when plans fail. The world trusts strength because it delivers. This doesn't mean physical dominance alone. It means mental toughness, emotional control, and the ability to produce results regardless of conditions. People may sympathize with excuses, but they follow strength. When pressure hits, excuses collapse immediately. Stress doesn't care about your intentions. Competition doesn't pause because you had a bad week. Responsibility doesn't disappear because life feels unfair. Men who rely on excuses break under pressure because their identity is built on explanations rather than capability. Men who build strength become calm under pressure because they trust their ability to respond. The world constantly tests men, often without warning. Deadlines arrive early. Problems stack up. Expectations increase. In those moments, nobody asks how hard things were for you. They ask one thing: can you handle it? Strength answers that question without words. It shows through action. composure, and execution. Taking responsibility is the foundation of strength. When you own your outcomes, good or bad, you gain control. The moment you stop blaming, you start improving. Responsibility forces you to upgrade your skills, your habits, and your mindset. It pushes you to become capable enough that excuses are unnecessary. That is why responsibility feels heavy at first, but powerful later. The world also respects consistency. Anyone can perform once. Strength is shown in repetition. Showing up again and again, even when it's boring, exhausting, or unrewarded, builds credibility. Excuses are inconsistent by nature. They change depending on the situation. Strength is stable. It becomes a reputation. Weakness seeks understanding. Strength earns respect. There is a difference. Weakness wants others to see how hard it tried. Strength lets results speak. That silence is powerful. It removes the need to argue, justify, or defend. When your actions produce outcomes, opinions lose relevance. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or denying hardship. It means refusing to be defined by it. Strong men acknowledge obstacles without bowing to them. They adapt instead of complaining. They adjust instead of quitting. That adaptability is a form of intelligence the world values deeply. Over time, men who choose strength gain leverage. Opportunities come to those who can handle pressure. Trust is given to those who have proven reliable. Influence belongs to those who execute, not those who explain. The world may feel cold, but it is fair in one way: it rewards capability. Once a man understands that respect is earned through strength, excuses lose their appeal. He no longer needs to be understood. He needs to be effective. This is the truth most men avoid hearing. Life does not bend to your comfort, your emotions, or your intentions. It bends to strength. Every lesson in this speech leads back to that reality. Comfort weakens you because it removes resistance. Pain sharpens you because it forces adaptation. Discipline forges you because it makes suffering intentional instead of accidental. And strength earns respect because it produces results in a world that does not pause or apologize. When you stop fighting these truths and start living by them, everything changes, not instantly, but permanently. Pain is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is proof that you are in the process of becoming someone harder to break. Every uncomfortable morning, every lonely grind, every moment you choose effort over ease is building a man who can survive pressure without panic. The pain you choose today saves you from the pain that destroys men tomorrow. Avoiding hardship does not protect you, it leaves you unprepared. Embracing it turns chaos into training, struggle into strength. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. It is not glamorous, loud, or celebrated, but it is unstoppable. Discipline teaches you to move without motivation, to act without applause, and to stand firm when emotions try to pull you apart. Over time, it builds something far more valuable than success: self-respect. A man who respects himself does not beg for validation, does not make excuses, and does not retreat when things get hard. He adjusts, endures, and advances. Here is the mindset that changes everything, the line that must live in your head every day. Choose the pain that builds you, or life will choose the pain that breaks you. Once you accept this, comfort loses its power, excuses lose their voice, and weakness loses its grip. You stop asking life to be easier and start demanding more from yourself. And when that shift happens, you don't just survive the world, you dominate your place in it. Thank you for watching and staying till the end. If this message challenged you, motivated you, or lit a fire inside you, don't let it stop here. Take what you heard and apply it to your life today. No delay, no excuses. Real change starts with action, not intention. If this video added value to you, hit the like button to support the channel and help this message reach more people who need it. Subscribe if you want more powerful mindset, discipline, and strength building content every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a message that pushes you forward when you need it most. Drop a comment below with one word that describes how you feel right now, or write one promise you're making to yourself after watching this. Your words matter, and they might inspire someone else reading them. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, stay strong. Thank you for watching. This is your sign to get to work.